Now, just to, what I've been doing, so I had actually started some of the haircut previously, just to get a bit of a feel for the hair. And so I'm actually really kind of like just, kind of playing around with it here, with the shape. So if you see, I'm kind of working with disconnection. If you see with the clips down here, I'm totally disconnecting out the perimeter in the back. So, and then what I'm doing is just working with vertical sections like so, and I'm actually first disconnecting the perimeter and just working with a bit of like a square or flat layering throughout here. Now, as I get closer to by the ears, what I'll then be doing is I'm then going to be kicking my fingers out to really maintain some length in that perimeter. So I kind of really want a very soft feeling to this, a little bit more texture, but a stronger internal area. So yeah, no, I'm really kind of like just getting a feel for the hair, seeing how it's laying and everything. So just really working with vertical sections, working over my fingers to maintain length into the external area or the perimeter while you're reducing the weight into the internal area. So yeah. I'm going to continue working this up. Like I said, just. And then I will be going back over when it's all dry to really finesse the haircut, to really go back over my shape, to really develop it. So Jennifer, my favorite question to ask is anyone actually watching right now?
Yes, there are some people watching. There's about 40 people watching.
Oh, brilliant. So it's great to be back here on Hairbrains. I was, kind of like the regular educator I was doing free videos once a month. That could be on men's cutting, women's, wet shaving, quite a few different videos we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But yeah, so it's great. So guys, give us a shout out. Let us know where you guys are watching from. So please let me know. Maybe if you're in the United States, where maybe I'm originally from. And yeah. You see here, I'm going to be taking a slight vertical diagonal section. So I'm going to be just leaving this out for a moment. Come up. You see, I just want to reduce a bit more of the weight right there. Here.
Oh, Classy and Fab Beauty Salon are watching from Trinidad.
Oh, hello there. Brilliant. Okay, now I'm just going to just cross-check the shape there, just seeing how it's forming. And I would always love to go to Trinidad. So just coming through here, just checking. Now I'm checking with horizontal sections. It's just because I was doing everything with vertical sections, so I'm always going to do the opposite. So same thing. You can see there was a slight build-up of weight throughout here. It's just because I did work with a slight bit of over-direction back. So it was more like a natural over-direction back. And you can kind of see how, I will need to trim the overall length throughout here. But I think it's quite nice to be able to see, seeing some length here. I mean, what we see is at the ends, we've been pre-lightening her hair for a couple of times already, so the ends just need, we've been growing the hair out on the back, so the ends just need to be a bit trimmed, so, yeah, cool. Here. And then the overall feeling on the top, I mean, normally we keep it quite long, so you have the disconnecting coming over. But what we're actually going to be doing is we're actually going to be kind of almost giving her a fringe. So we're going to bring it out to more, this is about like eyebrowy feel, to it. So then you'll see I will be working with layering on the top to kind of like almost create height. So that's the one thing about layering. We're going to create height with layering and also reducing the weight. So then it's a bit more fun. So we have some length, we have a bit of structure on the sides here, and then going through more like a looser internal area on the top. So yeah. And I think it's quite nice actually to be able to see that you can actually kind of dress it in kind of like a few different ways there. So what I mean by that is it can be smoother, it can be more volumized, you can actually work with more of a natural texture, so a bit more wavy, curly. And so something that you'd be able to kind of like recommend to your clients or your guests. So I'm going to be going this way now. So Jennifer, if we just go move around this way. And so you're going to see in how I'm going to be creating the exact same thing on the opposite side. So I'm just going to put these here just so I don't cover up the overall length there. So Jennifer, does anyone have any questions so far?
No questions so far.
Yeah? Is everyone liking what I'm doing so far? Let me know just so I don't freak out during the whole video.
I love the colours, they're cool.
Yeah, the colour, we normally do like a very rose gold, but this time we kind of changed it up to a bit more lilac, lavender. So yeah, but we did have to do, we had a pre-lighting beforehand, and then we used a direct dye. So a brand called Mood from Italy, and so yeah.
Someone saying hello from Peru, Elena.
Hello, Elena. Very nice to meet you there. Thank you very much for watching. I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to be able to share with you my feeling of this type of look here. So thank you. I think one of the important things is that when we are, when you are talking to your guests, your clients, speaking to them in a way of like, addressing, like for example, even though possibly we might do their hair quite a few times already, that they normally get the same thing over and over, maybe offer some suggestions to them and let them know that, listen, I still want to be able to treat you like a new client, and in a very professional way, and just say, listen, I'm very excited to do your hair still. Why don't we just throw a couple different options to you? And then, you're focusing on the client care. At the same time, you're also, being a professional and recommending maybe different, a couple different colored options or choices with haircuts and so forth. So, yeah. So,
Jasmine, sorry, I just lost it. Where's it gone? Jasmine Sutton is asking, is it a travelling guide or are you going back to the previous?
back to the previous. Yeah, so I will, my shape, even though I'm keeping it, I want to keep it kind of flat in this direction, my horizontal shape will be following the head shape, like so. So my sections are going vertical, like so, and I'm just getting my guide from the previous section. So hopefully that answers your question there for you. Yeah. And then you see I will be changing my finger positioning in a moment. So especially when you go off to the sides. Go this way. I'm just going to use a bit of water. Through here. Coming up. Now I'll be working over my fingers now because I want to still maintain length in the perimeter but also work with the flatter shape here through the internal area near the parietal ridge. So in order to achieve maintain some length, what will happen is my elbow, by bringing it out, will then create that type of shape there for you, a bit more concave. So keeping the length in the perimeter.
What scissors are you using?
The scissors I'm actually using, now I do love shorter scissors, especially when I'm doing more intricate precision work, and also then you'll see when I do freehand. I'm actually using a brand called Oka Secura, and these are 4.5 inch, and also they have a very, very slim blade. So if you see, very, very slim. So, and they're perfect for this type of work. And also, it's, for example, if I was using more, with doing a lot of texturizing in my haircut, then I would actually use a bit more wider blade, or if I was doing more scissor or comb work, so such as for the barbering. So, but these ones are perfect for the type of look I'm creating here today.
What size are they again?
4.5 inch. I have all different sizes. I have plenty of scissors.
And you have the smallest ones ever as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to continue.
Did you decide on the color, or was it? Did you talk about it?
Well, we talked about it. I offered some suggestions, so a couple of different options, and so we kind of went for this one. So, yeah, which I think is quite nice. It's just a bit different, you know. And you're 19, aren't you? So I thought it was nice to be able to do some fun colors, you know, and have a bit of, you know, have a bit of fun while she's young. So,
Looks good.
I think I did that when I was young, and when I had hair. So, yeah. Yeah, so it's going to be just a lot of fun here. So, into here. Through, continuing. And then just final section, just really kind of cleaning that up here. Maybe a slight bit of over direction back. And then you see here, I will then, just want to bring out, just working with the very point of my scissors, just going to carve in a line. Just bring out her temple area.
Is there some kind of facial feature that you wouldn't take out the temple area?
Possibly if they were kind of like myself, like a bit like a skeleton. So if it dips down too much here, then what would happen is sometimes you might expand the parietal ridge area, or you might make them feel a little bit sunken in. So sometimes if they are real deep in the temple area, what might be better is if you work with over direction to keep a little more weight to fill in those temple areas. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to go back over. We're going to cross-check this again. Just kind of going. Yeah, sure. is quite necessary to see different, with the different texture coming out. So, I mean, you can actually have just a bit more fun, you know, with cutting hair in a way where it's, just take these out here. You can actually have just a little bit of fun. I mean, even like dressing it, when you're styling it, or even when you talk to your guests, you know, you could recommend, okay, I'm going to be using like a leave-in treatment, and you can actually air dry it, and you can just like kind of just move it around with your fingers. It's a great way to kind of, you know, help your clients to style the hair themselves at home. You know, so it's you know, in this case here, I mean, yeah, okay. So I tried to do more of like more or less more of like a salon-friendly look here, which is salon creative look. So now, just remember, you can make this a bit more classic in a way. You know, once again, if you take away the, you know, the bright color or anything, and more natural tones, and then, you know, maybe not so extreme with this connection, you know, you can have a really nice soft lady's haircut, you know, where, you know, so you can modify haircuts, you know, to suit your type of clientele. You know, it doesn't have to be haircut A, B, and C. You know, learning about the technique, because then you can really, you know, be able to offer your guests, you know, your clients, some more different options. At the same time, I do feel it's like make sure that, you know, like you can have fun with the hair, cutting it. You know, like I said, if you know, leaving bits out, see if it works. If it doesn't work, just cut it off. You know, have some fun with cutting hair. Cool. All right then. So we're now going to work. Let me go this way now. Cool. Right. People still watching there, Jen?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
There's 50 people watching.
Oh, wicked. Yeah, so I'm originally from New York in America, and Miss Jenny V, she's actually originally from Italy. So, but we live here in Edinburgh, Scotland, and yeah, so we're very excited. So hopefully we're going to be going to America in March, possibly, to teach classes. So yeah, so we're looking forward to that. So we'll be hopefully on the East Coast this time. So. Okay, so then what I'm now going to do, I'm now going to be working through more pivoting sections. Going through here. And I'll be over-directing it towards the middle area.
Catherine from Saratoga, New York.
Oh yeah.
Where is that?
Saratoga. It's Saratoga is more upstate. I believe, from what I remember, yeah. It's been over 20 years.
So with the front, you're cutting it like a heavier fringe, or?
Yeah, we're going to start off with a little more of a slightly more heavier fringe, just because the reason why it tends to be a little bit jumpy in the front. So I just want to keep a slightly more heavier fringe. So but if you see, by keeping it slightly more triangular, what I'm doing is just by keeping a little more, keeping that length here, but also the weight more in that area. And then what then happens, as I get a little more closer here,
Why would you take like vertical sections instead of like horizontal, like temple to temple kind of?
Okay, yeah, so great question. So in this case here, what I'm doing is, so by working more like a slightly more shorter internal area and keeping it longer in front or the perimeter. So by doing this, what will happen is it will go better with the curvature of the skull this way, and also create more movement in the top area, but still keeping some weight towards the perimeter. If I went this way, going across the head like so, what would happen is it probably end up being maybe a little bit heavier. So what I'm doing is attacking the internal area right away by reducing the weight. So that's the reason why I chose to do it this way. So this is a great way, especially if you have a client that wants a bit more like a mod look. So, you know, from the 1960s for your guys or women. So what that means is I can go from extraordinary short in the internal area going to long. So just by, and I'll do the same type of section pattern here. Keeping this up. There we go. I mean, like, you can really just like, I think, if you want to keep this long, you can really keep that kind of like flicking out. I'm kind of like into her flick at the moment. It's kind of like, it just like really creates, it's my level of creating softness in the hair. It's just like working with her natural texture. So yeah, so the way you can dress this, you can actually use like a diffuser, like, you know, some cream and some styling cream and a diffuser, and to dry a little more natural that way. So now I'm going to continue working this way. So I'm going to do the opposite side. And then what will happen is, you'll see I'm going to be going, still keeping that, like I said, I want to keep some weight, some length there first. And I'm going to continue here.
And do you follow a guideline, or you
so
freehand it?
So my sections are going like this, and so I'm just over directing to the previous section. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're just making it kind of square if you were to cross-check.
No, I'm still going to follow the shape of the head, which end up being round.
Okay.
So you might feel it's not going to be round like a circle or anything, so it will still have a certain amount of weight there. Because I didn't want to, you know, take off. You know, I don't want her hair going too short or anything. I still want her hair to have that bit of fun, you know, bit of length in certain key areas. But very excited. It's extraordinarily cold here in Edinburgh, Scotland. So it's, I couldn't wear my kilt today. So yeah, no, it's great. We were in America. It was Jen's first time in New York in last July. So looking forward to seeing the family again, hopefully in March. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. You know. But yeah, so really looking forward to be able to bring, you know, more education, or, you know, to help develop hairdressers, you know, that partake in our courses and everything. So, so we actually do have a lot of Americans that do come over to travel abroad here for education. So, you know, once again, it's just great that to be able to, you know, to be able to share with individuals. You know, my years of experience, you know, so I've been doing this for about 34 years now, and so it's actually just great to be able to, you know, meet, you know, hairdressers, passionate individuals, you know, that love what they do. And also, you know, Hairbrain is such a great platform to be able to be here and to be able to, you know, share knowledge, you know, and to help others, you know. I think that's one thing I'm strongly passionate about, is helping others So, yeah, so here we go. And then what we'll do is we're going to be working with the blow drying in a moment. And then once I dry it, you'll see that's when I'm really going to go back in with the haircut. And make sure that it's all, what's the word? I want to make sure it's all perfect, you know, or, you know, when the hair is dry, I can then create, you know, I have a bit more feeling to the hair. I can create a bit more shape to it. You know, I can see what happens is that when the hair, you know, expands in the way. So then, you see, I'm quite excited about getting rid of some of this hair off here. So what we can do, I mean, personally, I'm just going to quickly just take rid of some of the length here, and then when it's just to help make it easier for the blow dry. And then I'm going to go back over it and really refine it when after it's dry. So in this case here, I'm just doing almost like a rough draft. I'm just taking these ends off here. Like I said, this is not, you know, I'm just using my fingers here because it's okay with the overall amount of tension. Yeah. Let's go over here for that. Yeah. So then I'm going to go back and I'm really going to be able to, like, you know, I'm really fine-tuning the overall shape. So. And I still have to go back over the back here. I still want to kind of trim that up and really refine that. So, cool. You okay there? Yeah, you still there? So I think with the product usage that I'm using, so I will be using kind of like a leave-in treatment with the hair. Now this one is from brand Mood, so it's okay with the sort of care Mood. So this is like a treatment, sorry, a brand new one. There you go. So just put it onto the brush. It's like a mousse, like a nice little whipped cream. Yummy. And I'm just going to just put this all throughout the hair, like so. And this, like I said, I want to be able to treat the hair, and this is something that I would recommend to my guests. You know, and also even the way I'm applying it through a brush, just to make sure I have even saturation. Make sure I have even saturation. Because of the hair being, you know, color treated, you know, this is great. Because it's acidic, so this will help lock in her color. You know, the more she uses it, the more it will help, you know, protect the color and also strengthen up the hair. Because it doesn't have a plexing bond, the bonding agent. So, yeah. I mean, even like, just say, like, you can see, even like, wearing it like a bit more, you can, you know, talk to your guests about styling it a bit more like sleek in a way, and then let it just dry. So there's different ways, you know, you can have a bit of fun with styling the hair. Now, I'm going to be using a heat defending spray just to protect it from the heat. Once again, I don't want to lose any color, and also because it's, I also don't want to create any damage to the hair. So. I'm just going to be using a flat brush for blow drying. This is a vest brush. And you can use the fingers first, just to take away some of the excess water. Are there any questions again?
No, no questions. Quiet, everyone.
Everyone's quiet. Here, so now just lifting it, working it forward. So it's going to be really cute, you know, really cute. Like a combination of a pixie look with kind of like one texture. I think all the pixie, you know, with a bit of length in the back. So I just want to call it a little bit mommy. I to be honest with you, I'm so over the names already, so there's no really names for haircuts now. Or it's so similar. then moving it around. So what I might do is that, I know there's a mess over here. I'm going to just touch it up with the irons, and then we'll be getting into my haircut in there, so. And I'm really going to refine everything. So I'm just going to put just a drop of serum. I just think it really helps one edge really shine through the hair, but also it just really helps protect it, a little bit of added protection with the irons to the to the hair, and just seal the shine in. So I use the Mood Serum Light, which is a very lightweight serum. I think it's one of my favorite products from Mood. I know Jennifer loves it. She uses it all the time. So I'm probably not even going to take sections. I'm probably just going to. I'm just having a bit of. I'll just do a tiny bit of section, just in the fringe area.
Do you want me to hold it for you?
Huh?
Do you want me to hold it for you instead of clipping it?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah. Jen wants to be in the camera.
No, I don't. And my hand will be in the camera.
I just want to be able to you'll see when I do my texturizing, my softening and refining, you see how it all brings the haircut together. So, there we go. Gorgeous. So, a bit of teamwork, yeah, right there.
Mm-hmm.
So. And I think it just makes your eyes stand out more.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just oh my God, it's striking now. So I'm not saying she had ugly eyes before. It's just I think before with having the pink and everything, I think now the eyes are really popping out. Oops, sorry. I'm always in the way.
Right in front, your head.
And then just in a moment, I'm going to get back to cutting to refine everything and to really kind of really work. Put that over this side. Yeah.
Oh, Katrina Thompson.
Yeah, hello, Katrina.
Good evening.
Okay, so now I'm going to be working with a variety of different type of texturizing techniques, such as point cutting, and also maybe just a little bit of slicing into the hair. just to really kind of break into it a little bit, give more of an exaggerated, feeling to the hair. And yeah, so in this case, I'm going to use the wide ends of my cutting comb just to go through the dry hair, making sure that I need to make sure that my blade is going vertical, just to really kind of make sure I'm taking weight off only instead of length. So. Now I switched to, as you see, that my blades are a little bit wider now. So I switched out because I'm doing the texturizing stage. So going through a little more wider blades for the texturizing. As before, when I was cutting on wet hair, I was using a bit more like my slimmer blades. I'm just really having a strong feeling about everything. And go through on this side.
How do you decide when to stop?
Great question. So, who asked that?
Me.
Oh, you did, yeah. Great question. Now, a great way is like really evaluate the shape, constantly, take a look at it, seeing how it's developing. But at the same time, I think for any beginner, I would definitely say really make sure that we're like moving the hair around. Because if the hair doesn't move, if it's like not moving the way you want it to, most likely that means it's too heavy. So when you go shorter, with like, much shorter this, if the hair stays up and it doesn't fall down, that means enough weight's taken off. If you put it up, if you stick it up and it's going down, that means it's too heavy. So you have to go back over it. If you see, now I'm kind of like jumping around with my texturizing with the point cutting, just to really kind of give a bit more sporadic type of texture throughout the hair. You can work with a little bit of slicing. Yeah, so I'm just doing like the finishing touches here. So, going with the way I'm feeling it, seeing how seeing how the hair moves.
Oh, you know who's watching?
Oh.
My mum. She says hello.
Your mom.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. Ciao, ciao. Okay, so I'm going to move around now to the back area. So, but the only thing is, in order to maintain the length, I'm going to still go over. So I'm going to be taking. Let me work over. You work over your guest or over your client, and working through. Just working with the point of the scissors. By doing that, by going up this way, what will happen is you kind of automatically drop out that hairline area. just taking, because during the consultation, we did say that just in this area where the cervical bone area is a little bit heavy. So that's why I'm kind of just focusing on creating that little bit more, taking the weight off them. And so we go back over the overall length. I'm going to push the hair down. Just going through here. This way, so still keeping some length. But just really just want to get those ends off. So what you can also do as well is pushing this down. Okay, moving along. Yeah. And I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side here. So going through here. See, just giving these ends off here. Yeah, when I first got Madeline's hair, it was what was it, number 2? It was a number 2 on the back and sides.
I forgot about that.
With long disconnected, like kind of like a comb over sort of. And then we just kind of we started so I started suggesting like maybe growing out the perimeter and having shorter internal area. Yeah, we've been kind of changing up a little bit each time. But I think the only thing is it's just that you're building up that trust with your guest or your client. Because the key thing is we have to really focus as a hairdresser, barber, or if you're learning the trade, focus on the most important person in the salon, which is the returning client. Okay, you really want to make sure that you can when you talk to your clients, address maybe any concerns about the hair. Talk to them about how to style the hair, what products to use, and so then they can then have great styled hair, and show them how to style it, and have a bit of fun, And I think that's the key thing, is because, especially it's like the communication that we have with your clients, it's definitely vital, It's not just about doing the pictures for Instagram. It's about, focusing on, who really matters, or your clients. So. Over. So I'm going to come up again. It's different with normally the hair is very, very long here, and sometimes I think sometimes we can be a bit more solid, a bit more heavier. This is quite nice. It's a bit more like I think a bit more like a softer look, which I think is just a nice little change, than normally what we would normally do before. So I think expressing changes to your clients, You know, and if, once you get the clients that are maybe open for those changes, you know, like just take advantage of it, you know, talk to them, you know, about maybe some ideas, you know. And one, it also keeps you from just doing kind of like the same thing over and over inside the hair salon or the barber shop.
Oh, Katrina says you're always on point with the client service, Sid and Jen.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, you know, I take on board, you know, from what I learned from Jen, you know, with the way she addresses her clients' concerns, you know, the way she handles her clients, and also, you know, a lot of things that I've learned, you know, about client care. You know, I'm not perfect, you know, I'm not, you know, and so a lot of times I have to remind myself, you know, especially it's all about the guests, when they sit in your chair, and really, you know, I'm being quite mindful here with the fringe, just, you know, because, you know, we talked in the consultation, there was an area in her fringe that she didn't want showing, so that's why I had to design a haircut a certain way, you know. But yeah, so always keep in mind, you know, think about your clients, you know, have enough fun with your clients. Yeah, I would like for her to come back, you know, and you know, and put trust and faith in you know, the type of style. All right, we're going to be just moving along. So yeah, it's quite nice. I mean, there's no finishing product. I didn't put any finishing products in it. This is just the haircut itself, which I think is, you know, looking quite pretty there. Like her eyes are really popping out, aren't they?
Mm, that's good.
And all this little finessing I'm doing, this is just keeping a little bit heavier there. It's definitely a cute style, isn't it? You know, it's really, that's what I was kind of really going for. I really want to do that mess. Just like feminine, cute, like, you know, just, you know, feeling to the hair where, you know, yeah, if she wants to really style it extraordinarily smooth, you know, you can. I'm just going to just slowly just soften these very edges just right here. I'm just doing that very, very tip of my scissors here. If you see, I'm working over, but at the same time, I'm not pulling the hair down. I'm actually elevating it just to help reduce it a little bit that way. Okay, now let's put a little. I'm going to put a product in to help with a cream-based product, because that will be just a touch heavier, just to control the hair and to enhance the styling. So let's see, what should I use? I'm actually going to be using, it's actually a treatment mask. I'm actually going to be using that to help style the hair. So this one's called the Instant Repair Mask. And I'm actually going to be using that to help. I'm going to start off small first. So it's not a heavy product, it's just conditioner or a treatment conditioner. And so I don't want to like go too crazy with the wax or clay or anything. I'm just actually using just conditioner style of hair. So yeah, why not, right? Have fun. cute. Yeah. You have to go out tonight now. Go to the pub and yeah, just like a bit of softness to the hair. Please don't show over here, Jen. I don't know what happened. And you can just use a little bit of hairspray. So what I'm just taking the hairspray, I'm taking, pieces of hair and just, you can see that just helps add a little bit of texture to it. So, perfect.
Katrina says, stunning result. Your client can style her hair numerous ways with your precision cut.
Yeah, I think it's, even though it was textured, I think it's just like, what's great about it is like, there's different ways to style it, just say, just want to wash and go, so just put maybe conditioner in the hair and just scrunch it and just let it air dry. To say if it was ever sunny here in Edinburgh, Scotland, she'd be able to do that. Otherwise, we would recommend using a diffuser, which is the attachment for the blow dryer. Okay, so just a bit of a recap. So ideally, I just worked with a tiny bit of disconnection on the top, where what I did was I put my clips down the hairline area, then, or the perimeter, I kept that disconnected, then I worked square layering, going around from the head shape, working with vertical sections. So my sections were going like so. Then when I got to the sides, I then kicked out to keep some length in the perimeter, taking vertical sections, and I repeated the same thing on the opposite side. Then on the top, I first worked a bit square, especially for the crown area, then going into triangular to keep some length towards the fringe area. Then my sections were going pivoting, like pizza pie sections. Then I was over directing to my previous. Then, as blow dry, I used the treatment mousse from Mood and a heat defending spray. Then I blow dry with a flat brush, just quickly use the irons, just to polish off the ends. I could have used a round brush, but I didn't have one in my trolley there.